What problems are you dealing with in your life right now?
Do you feel like giving up? Times are hard and you're not strong. Well, I know the answer for you, and it will lead to real truth. Don't look back to yesterday.
Now there are answers.
Tomorrow's on the
Welcome to
way.
Live Prayer.
It's waiting.
And welcome to Live Prayer. It's good to be with you tonight. I'm Bill Keller. Welcome to the program, wherever you may be across this great land of ours, or in foreign lands, if that's the case. Good to be with you. Hope you had a good weekend, good start to your week. I am ready to get another week of programming off to a good start tonight. Nothing real crazy over the weekend. It's kind of quiet, actually. I mean, we've got definitely a bunch of things to talk about, but it's kind of a quiet weekend. Hope you had a chance to take a few hours, and as I encouraged you on Friday night, take a few hours over the weekend, just do something that you wanted to do. Just do something fun. And I hope you had a good rest if you're not in a work mode on the weekend. And just thankful that we have this time together. This is Live Prayer, and I'm Bill Keller. We're here live every Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight Eastern. And, of course, this program comes to you via the ministries of Live Prayer, wherever you may be watching. Our friends on Roku, welcome to the program tonight. Of course, our friends on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, our main feed on liveprayer.com, our website. Wherever you may be watching, whatever platform, I'm glad you are with me tonight. And I think we're going to have a good time tonight. Listen, before we do anything else, if you missed the program last week, go get last Friday's program. Really, you might want to watch Thursday and Friday, but if you don't watch Thursday, that's fine. Watch Friday's program. Share it with people you know. I'm almost haunted that this is one of those programs 5-10 years from now I'm going to point back to and just kind of shake my head and say, man, I told you this is coming. But it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. We're in a battle. And again, I think the takeaway from Friday night, Christians don't start fighting the battle until it's already been lost. I mean, if we fought as hard for life before Roe v. Wade became law in 1973, I don't know if it ever would have made it. I'm just being honest with you. Now, again, just for a full understanding, because it's so disingenuous when people say, well, they just want to stop all abortions and blah, blah. No, abortion was always a state issue. And if Roe versus Wade was ever overturned, it would not automatically outlaw abortion. It would just go back to each state. But if we had fought that battle before 1973, it may have never gotten to that place. Just like the whole gay marriage issue. They started fighting on the eve of the Supreme Court ruling. I mean, the battle's lost by then. And then people are fighting so hard after the fact. But I mean, the war's over. And while we're battling that, they're down the road on 5 other new things. So if nothing else, I hope it opened your mind, opened your eyes a little bit to see maybe ahead of the game a little bit that the biggest mistake we've made as Christians is not being willing to fight the battles in the beginning. I'll give you a great analogy. It's like these horrible fires they get out west all the time. You know, if there's a little if there's a match that hits a few leaves and you've got just one little tiny section burning, that's the time you want to put it out. But that usually isn't the case. They've got 20, 30,000 acres burning into just charred timber sometimes before they ever start fighting the battle. See what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, we're not battle tested. Just being honest with you, we're soft. Man, I didn't know I was going to. You know what? I'm going to let God take this for a little bit, because this is good and this is important. We are soft. We're soft because we don't have to fight. We're soft because our big decision on Sunday morning is whether we get our lazy rear ends out of bed or not and go to church or not. That's our big decision. That's our battle. Whether we're going to go to church or not on Sunday morning. I mean, we're soft. We don't know how to fight. Churches don't talk about spiritual warfare anymore. Hit on it here and there, but it's never specific. They're never telling you what you need to be, what you need to be attacking, what you need to be in warfare against. Why do you think I keep talking about some of the issues I do all the time? All this transsexual stuff. There's another one. We push back a little here and there, but not much. We're not fighting. The people fighting that battle, they're just, walking right, just blowing right through. We'll give them a little, we'll come against them every now and then, but not really. And what else? What else do I talk to you about all the time that we're not really fighting at all? I mean, this whole automation thing, the whole robot thing, the robot preachers. Man, I couldn't just come out and start talking about robot pastors because I knew people would just roll their eyes and not listen. So I had to start, in a place where people could relate, because I didn't even read the article. I've got it marked for tomorrow, but I've got an article to read tomorrow about the number of jobs that have been lost already due to, robots. I mean, already. And I've been talking, if you've been, we're watching the program when we were on back in 13, 14, 15, before this was really an issue. I was talking about this then. And you say, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, if nothing else, pray. If nothing else, tell others about it. I mean, talk to your church about it. At least address it, acknowledge it. See, this is part of the problem when we lived in these cloistered communities, when we lived in these safety zones, when we isolate ourselves inside this little Christian subculture. I got it. People don't like the nastiness of life. And yeah, it's nice, it's nice out in the suburbs, and it's nice, all your friends are, part of your church and everything's nice. I got it. But the problem is, that's not reality. And I'm not saying you have to, go and get your nose bloodied every day. But if we are, sounding that trump of warning, if we're not out there, exposing, the lies, who's going to do that? And when we don't do that, guess what? Nobody does that. We've got some, again, please, if you didn't see Friday's program, watch it and share it. Get the link off of, our YouTube or our Facebook, where get people to watch it. So at least they have an understanding. At least they're aware of what's going on. Because this whole war against the religion of social justice, that's a war that's going on right now. But like most of our wars, we're not really fighting, not much. Most of those battles are going unopposed. How did pornography become just part of our culture like it has? So ingrained. How did gamble? Those are just two issues that 40 years ago Did they exist? Absolutely they existed. Sure they did. But they weren't mainstream. Matter of fact, they were stigmatized. They were still looked at as, things that, good people didn't do. But now they're mainstream. They're just like mainstream. Why? Because they were fighting those wars, and we decided to just, take a nap. And then we wake up and all of a sudden pornography is mainstream. Well, how'd that happen? Happened because they made it happen and we did nothing to stop it. And again, fighting battles after the war is lost. It's nice, better than nothing, but, and again, it's because we're soft. We've never had to fight. We've never had to toil for the faith. You got people in some countries, putting their life on the line just to go to church on sleep. Are you kidding? That's not even a possibility. They're going to church. Their only issue is, will they ever go home again? These people have to fight for their faith, contend for their faith on a daily basis. Just to read the Bible in some places is a potential death sentence. These people have had to fight their whole Christian existence, the whole time they've been a Christian, they've had to fight because it's literally a life and death battle for them every day just to be a Christian. Us? It's embarrassing. It really is. And I watch these church fights about the most stupid things. And I understand. We have to, we have to rightly divide the word, and we don't want to let false doctrine into the church. I got all of that, But we're sitting there arguing about, whether you have to be baptized to be saved or not. Do you speak in tongues? Whatever. We've just had it too easy. We really have. I'm sorry. And I've said for a long time, and again, if you've been reading my devotionals, if you've been part of the Live Prayer Ministry over the years, if you watch this program over the years, one of the things I come back to quite often is the fact that the church is going to come under real persecution very soon. And that's going to be the shakeout, all the people playing games and all the prosperity pimps and all the people that are, just doing this for, so they can live in a mansion, drive a Bentley, and fly in a private jet. Those people are going to be gone. They'll be the first to go. They'll be the first to run. But there's going to come persecution. And you know what? All these man-made denominations, that's not going to matter anymore. One of the purest places for the church, being very honest with you, prison. You don't get to have a Baptist service and a Pentecostal service and a Methodist service and a Lutheran. There's one. They usually have a Catholic service for the Catholics. They usually have a Protestant service for the Protestants. And some places they don't even divvy them up like that, to be honest with you. A lot of places it's, they'll have, services for Jewish inmates and they'll have services for Christian inmates. And that's it. But that's good. Because at the end of the day, how many times have I told you on this program, when you take your last breath and you're in line up there waiting to see God, your creator, There's not going to be a line of black people, and a line of white people, and a line of yellow people, and a line of red people, a line of brown people. No. There's certainly not going to be a line of Catholics, and a line of Methodists, and a line of Pentecostals, and a line of Presbyterians. No. There's going to be two lines. That's it, too. You're either going to know Jesus or you don't know Jesus. That's it. That's it. And when you break it down to that place, do you think these Christians in China are sitting there arguing about stupid things? Do you think they won't go to somebody's house, because they don't even try to identify in a denominational point. They don't even. They don't look. They haven't been. They don't have the luxury. Let me put it that way. There you go. That's the best way to describe it. They don't have the luxury. They're just with brothers and sisters who have shared faith in Christ. And their only truth and their only God is the Bible. Man, when you break it back down to that basic place, stuff isn't that complicated. We got 300 denominations, and we've got 50 versions of the 50 different type of translations of the Bible, and all kinds of different forms of English language. Oh man, you can go to church on the internet. We don't have any respect. We really don't. We don't respect our faith. I'm just being blunt with you. We don't. We don't respect our faith. We don't cherish our faith. And I'm not saying we don't appreciate our faith, because I'm sure all who know Jesus do to some extent. I'm just saying we have it so easy that we've never had to learn how to fight for our faith. We got more people. There's more people fighting to try to get people saved than people wanting to get saved. The battles are backwards. Most people could care less. But I really didn't mean to go that long down that trail. But it needs to be said from time to time. It really does. Because really what I talked to you about Friday night for that entire hour was trying to give you a glimpse at what's happening now. Real battles going on now that the church doesn't even pay attention to. The church doesn't even acknowledge. Like I said, they don't even really get interested until the battle's over. Now, I'm not saying there weren't people fighting gay marriage before it finally went through the Supreme Court, because there were, but very few. Fighting's hard. It's a lot easier to just sit in the pews and sing "Jesus loves me, this I know." Go home, turn on your Christian radio, turn on Christian TV, play cards at night with your Christian friends, And I get it. Trust me, I get it. And there's nothing wrong with having that type of a nurturing home environment. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not mocking. I'm not making fun of it. Not any at all. Matter of fact, that's the way it should be. But it can't be to the exclusion of what's going on outside your door. Probably the number one email I get from this program every night is people that, I really didn't know this was going on. I really didn't hear about it. I didn't know this was happening. I got it. And again, listen, I'm not, trying to put any burdens on people. Most people, like I said, you get up in the morning and, man, you're ripping and roaring. You got a job, maybe two. You got kids to deal with. You got, car needs to get repaired. You're just living life. By the time it's all over at 10 o'clock at night, man, you just want to lay down, watch 2 minutes of TV before your eyes shut and you go to sleep. I got it. You got enough drama going on in your own life, enough issues going on in your own life. You don't need to be inundated with, all this other stuff going on that can be overwhelming. The easiest thought that Satan puts in Christians' minds is, well, you can't do anything about that. So you can't do anything about that. Really? Really? You can pray, and don't ever underestimate what that means. But you can also talk about it, expose it, let other people know about it. One of the great things about this program is you're getting information every night about things, real world things, real things happening in our world today that are being presented to you in a much different form than you would get it anywhere else in terms of, just news items, things going on in the world. But the one thing I try to do is, try to break it down as simply as possible, so it's not only understandable, but you can see the issue. And if nothing else, you can share that with other people. And the more people that know about these things, the better. I tell you, some pastors, listen, I know some guys, God bless them. God bless them. I've been to seminary. I know, I've got the whole routine down. I know some guys, they'll spend 2 days working on a sermon for Sunday. They'll spend another 3 hours practicing it, working out. That's great. Man, I am not in any way minimizing that. I'm not minimizing any way those who have this gift for teaching and all that's excellent. But you know what? Sometimes these pastors, they need, on some Sundays, they need to just, come in on Sunday morning with the front section of the local newspaper for the last 7 days since last Sunday's church, and just start riffing through the headlines. Because every one of those headlines, pretty much, there are lessons there. There are issues there. There are real world applications there. And people have got to start being able to learn how to look at life, not just in the black and white, but in the spiritual. And that's why in a lot of these issues they come to the battle after the battle's done. They're cleaning up all the confetti from the from Satan's minions who they've already won the battle, they celebrated, and they're on to the next battle. And Christians are coming just in time to try to figure out what happened. All right, let's say a quick word of prayer. Father, thank you for tonight. Lord, it's always exciting when you're in control because you never know. But Lord, help us to hear from you tonight. Help us to be encouraged, to be challenged, that we can't just be complacent in our faith, that we just can't be satisfied in our faith. But we need to press on, and be active in our faith. Be bold in our faith. I pray for our friends tonight who have needs tonight. Every need is important to you, O Lord, and I pray that every need will be met tonight for the glory of Jesus. I lift up all of our friends tonight. Pray for your blessings upon them and their families. Minister to us tonight. We give this time to you tonight to use for your glory, and we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so let me one last time say, Friday night, if you didn't see it, go watch it. We've got archives on our YouTube page, on our Twitter feed, and our Facebook page. You can find all the old programs there. And they're dated and everything. They're easy to find. on our website, liveprayer.com. Just go to the media link, click on the Live Prayer TV tab. That will give you links to all of our various platforms that you can watch us on, as well as get the old programs. Okay, so do that. By the way, when you're at the website, if you don't get the daily devotional I've written every morning for 20 years, sign up to get it, please. It will be a blessing to you, free, just like everything. Doesn't cost you anything. Just sign up and get it. And what else do I want to tell you? I guess that's it. Let's get into some issues tonight, because there are some things going on. It was kind of a quiet weekend, actually. It really was. It was a quiet weekend, but still we've got some things going on that I want to make you aware of. The whole military fight on this issue of these people who call themselves transsexual. Just to set that stage, this is really nothing more than a social experiment that the Obama administration played on this issue. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's the military is not the place you want to be, experimenting with. It really isn't. I mean, we rely on the military for the safety of this nation, and the mental capacity of our warriors is critical. And I'm sorry, if you are so confused you don't even know what gender that God created you as, if that's a question, you've got some real issues. Now, listen, I've heard, well, we got thousands. They serve great, okay, that's fine. Doesn't mean that that's the place that we need to be, playing these games. I mean, I'll give you the greatest example of all, Bradley Manning. And no, I refuse to call him by whatever girly name he calls himself now. And he can take all the hormones and have all the surgeries. He was Bradley Manning. He is Bradley Manning. He always will be Bradley Manning. And he's a treasonous traitor that literally should have been shot at sunup a long time ago, to be honest with you. If you're not familiar with Bradley Manning, he was, I can't remember, was he in Afghanistan? He was a computer type guy out in Afghanistan, I think. And he didn't like the war. Oh, you know what it was? He didn't like how men and women who wanted to have sex with other men and women, in other words, same-sex relationships, he didn't like how those people were being treated in the military. So he was going to teach everybody a lesson. So he used his access to download millions of files and gave them to WikiLeaks to be disseminated to the world. And we're talking about top secret stuff. Now, I know he was in Leavenworth, what was it, 5 years, something like it, 6 years maybe? Oh, yeah. I think he got, okay, I don't remember the specifics, but I think I'm close. I think he got something like a 25, maybe 30 years, something like that. But Obama pardoned him after 5 or 6, something like that. I'm kind of remembering now. Either way, he should have been shot. I thought that's what happened to treasonous soldiers. It's like that other guy, the Bo Bergdahl, the deserter. They used to shoot deserters. I don't think anything happened to him, other than some people probably died in their efforts to find him. But, if you want an example of why this whole, transsexual nonsense in the military is just accidents waiting to happen, there you go. We've already had it. Bradley Manning gave millions of classified files to WikiLeaks because he didn't like how people who chose to engage in perverted sex with people of the same sex, those people in the military were being treated. So he was going to teach them a lesson. But above and beyond that, if you don't even know what gender you are, or there's confusion in that area, you don't deserve to be in the military. You deserve to be, in a shrink's office. Before you go being involved in the security of our nation, figure out the basics, my friend. Just dead serious. See, and here you go. This is another issue that it's being fought now. I'm not going to say this war is lost yet. It's getting close. It's real close. Because here you go. They've been battling this fight for a long time now. A lot of it has been happening, and Christians just weren't aware of it. They really, when they first got their first inkling of this whole issue, they didn't know this was going on. Really. They didn't. They're just not plugged in. And I get it. But their first inkling came with the whole bathroom issue. Remember that? And that's still going around some places. But you need an example of why this has no part in the military. 2 words: Bradley Manning. There you go. As long as we're on that issue, let me just get out of it real quick. There was a report. I read 4 or 5 different sources over in the UK, and this isn't 100%, but it's at least out there to the extent I just want to make you aware of it. Prince Harry and his new wife, Meghan Markle, the actress from the U.S., they're getting ready to have their first baby. I think it's a boy. Although there's been a lot of reporting over the last week or so that they're not really going to designate the baby's gender. It's going to be gender fluid. Now, there's been some real pushback from the royals in the last couple days. This pretty much went, there was no denying this for probably about a week. It's just in the last couple days that there's some real pushback coming now. And I don't know whether that pushback is just from the royals trying not to be part of this kind of a controversy. That very well could be. In other words, it could be true, but they're trying to distance themselves from it just because they don't want to be, the royal family doesn't want to be involved in this issue, okay? But, the fact that this Markle woman comes from, the Hollywood, Harry's a little flighty anyway. He'd probably do whatever she says. Good husband, right? Although not on an issue like this, just for the record. But the fact that it was out there about a week without any pushback at all, gives me, and from the sources I've been reading, it might very well be true. But see, and all it takes is that kind of a situation to really push this into the mainstream. So, and listen, the UK is, again, it's a good 10 years ahead of us in terms of the standard of perversion, if you want to, if that's even a term or terminology, okay? They really are. I mean, they were already well into the whole same-sex nonsense a good decade before the U.S. So we'll see. And again, I honestly believe that, and I've never been shy about saying so, I think this is as cruel as you can get. This is as abusive as you can get as a parent to do this to a child, because it doesn't have to happen. That's the point. I mean, 6,000 years, there was really no issue. You know, you come out of the womb, you've either got male anatomy or female anatomy. If you got male, you're a man. If you're a woman. I mean, billions and billions and billions and billions of people, and there was never an issue. Just shows you to the extent that this kind of perversion it's insane. I mean, I got to tell you something. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I started ministry, if somebody told me that I was, as I turned 61, I'd say, well, that's nice. At least God let me, live that long. I guess that's good. That'd be my first reaction. But if somebody told me 25 years ago, as I was just starting the ministry, at 25 years later, I'd be doing a TV program at the age of 61, talking about this kind of transsexual, all that. I would, even back then, I was, you gotta be out of your mind. And again, it's not a good defense, but I do understand why a lot of people just don't even want to acknowledge this stuff. But putting your head in the sand and being an ostrich just doesn't work. Doesn't solve anything. Doesn't make anything go away. Isolating yourself like that, I understand why people do it. I do. Most people have enough stuff now. They don't need to be inundated with all the, the sewage of the world. I got it. But if we don't speak up, who is? That's the problem. I told you maybe a month ago that we are already seeing, and this is something I told you was going to happen, we're already seeing a lot of child brides in this country. How it's happening at this point is these are Muslim men who are coming to this country, through legal means, and they list their wife, who might be 14 years old or 15 years old, and they're coming from another country, and the State Department really doesn't make any issue of it. Okay? I would say this year, you're going to start seeing a breakout of this stuff. Really. I'm just telling you. You've got enough Muslims in this country. Let me just back up for a second. It's already happening. It's just not happening legally, okay? You've already got it going on. Trust me. But they're gonna seek to be able to legally marry children under the auspices. This is part of their religious practices, and it is. I mean, to be honest, that's true. It is. They've been marrying children for 1,400 years. Muhammad had a bride of 6. His niece didn't consummate the marriage until she was 8. And Muslims have always just been driven mad when I call Muhammad a pedophile. But I don't know what your definition of a pedophile is, but having a wife who's 6 years old and consummating that marriage when she's 8, that's pedophilia, I think, in probably anybody's definition. So I'm just telling you that whole issue is ramping up, and it's getting ready to hit the surface. Just giving you a heads up. Along those lines, I didn't get a chance to see all of it. I was popping in and out, but I saw a good chunk of the 2-hour I don't know what you call it, speech or what you call it, that President Trump had at CPAC on Saturday. But he did have one place where he talked about people in Congress that hate the country. And he's right. You've got a war getting ready to be fought. And I've been trying to keep you updated, and I haven't really pushed it too far other than just trying to make you aware of this Omar woman she's a Somali Muslim representing Minnesota. Minneapolis suburbs are a hotbed of Somali Muslims. Matter of fact, more Muslims from Minneapolis have gone to fight for ISIS than any other area of our country, okay? She is hardcore, care 100%. She made some anti-Semitic marks that initially she tried to pass off as just naivete, didn't really mean it. But over the weekend, she went on another anti-Semitic rip and isn't even trying to back down from this one. And it's going to be very interesting because apparently Pelosi and the leadership, the Democratic leadership, they're getting ready, I think, to censor her. Now, they're censoring the outline I saw an hour ago, I guess. They're censoring, in general, anti-Semitic speech. They didn't name her, but this battle's coming. By the way, she thinks Maduro is the rightful leader of Venezuela. That's the dictator that literally stole the election. Of course, this wackadoo Cortez, she also believes that, but that's no shock. But this Omar, she's a legitimate, all-in Muslim. Okay, she's not a Muslim in name only. You had Keith Ellison, also from Minnesota. He had the sexual assault thing on him, but they didn't really care about talking about it, and he's the Attorney General of Minnesota now. You had a guy from Indiana. I can't think of his name right now, but another Muslim. But these guys identified as Muslims, but they really didn't push any of that in their work in the Congress. This Omar, she's a whole different ball of wax. Just like that other woman, Tlaib, the one from Dearborn, Michigan, the congresswoman there. They're all in, and they are not going to back down. This is what they believe, and they're not going to back down. It's going to be very interesting to see how this shakes out in the coming days and weeks. Because they're going to challenge. They're going to challenge Pelosi. They're going to challenge the leadership in Congress. And they're going to dare them to take them off committees. They're going to dare them to call them out by name. They're going to dare them. Because, number one, if they intimidate them into backing down, great, okay? Or, if they do name them, then they're going to play the martyr. They're going to win either way. They're going to win either way. So, of all the things we got going on in our Congress, unbelievable, right? And along that issue, the whole migrant issue that I've tried to keep you up to date on. And again, if you were watching the program back in 2015, when all of the North Africa, Syrian Muslims were migrating by thousands and thousands into Europe. London is a nightmare. London's a nightmare. I wouldn't go to London for anything in the world. Muslims are out. They have the real tight gun control laws. They don't have knife control laws, and people getting knifed to death is commonplace in London now, on a daily basis. And a lot of times it's just strangers. Germany. The two issues that they're dealing with in Europe with the migrants are the rapes and the knifings and the knife attacks. I mean, they're raping women right and left, raping kids right and left. And see, this is something that people don't understand. Rape is part of Islam. That's why every time I hear one of these idiots on TV, well, they're just misunderstood. It's a religion of peace, and most are peace. No, it's not. Read the Quran. How about that? Start there. Read the Quran. Rape is part of Islam. Not only can you rape your wife, you can pretty much rape women, rape kids, whatever. There's nothing. You don't go to jail in Muslim countries for raping people. That's part of Islam. This is the thing that frustrates me sometimes because, again, I've been writing about this for 20 years in the Daily Devotional. I have talked about this hours on end over these 15 years on TV. This is why CARE loathes me. Because I don't sit there and coddle these demons. And they're demons. They're evil. They are evil. And they don't like people telling the truth about what Islam is really all about. It is a brutal, evil, religious/political ideology. Okay? And barbarism in every form is the norm. This has been their history for 1,400 years. This is what they do. I'll never forget back when they had the whole Muslim Spring and all that nonsense, and Egypt had the whole thing going. You had that Tahrir Square, remember that? They were all excited about, whatever. And you had a CBS journalist, Laura Logan, that was in that crowd. And she was literally gang raped for hours in that square. This is who they are. And as horrible as it is, they won't talk about it on TV, but it's very common knowledge that our ambassador in Benghazi, Chris Stevens, they raped him before he was dead, and they raped him after he was dead. Very common in Islam. Very common to rape dead enemies. See, people don't want to talk about this stuff. But not talking about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Not talking about it means it just goes away. Europe is a nightmare because of the migration of these Muslims into Italy, into England, into Germany, into France. UPS, I got a bulletin today I saw. And just kind of blitzing through mail on my assistant's desk, and there's a big bulletin from UPS about different international destinations they won't go. They've stopped servicing because they're considered no-go zones. And I remember when people talked about that originally, I remember people that were talking about the no-go zones, they were being mocked and ridiculed and called liars. Well, those places don't exist. No, they do. They really do. Europe's a nightmare. It really is. Martha Stewart, whatever you think about Martha Stewart, whatever. She's in the whole pot thing now. Here's another one. Here's another war that's lost. Yeah? I guess long as that seems to be the theme tonight, might as well stick with it. And I know that doesn't sound like a very spiritual. It's spiritual because it destroys lives. We should be concerned about this type of an issue. There's nothing positive about this. Do I concede there are a very small minority of people, mostly in hospice, mostly who are, basically, waiting to die, to be blunt with you, where marijuana can help ease their pain? Absolutely. And I totally respect that usage of it. Do you know out of 1,000 people how many that represents? Probably not even one. Maybe one out of 10,000. The other 99,999, whatever you want to call. Those people are using it recreationally. They're using it to get high. There's nothing good that can come of that. We were on in the Denver market for a long time, and I've got some people connected with the ministry who are, Colorado State troopers and some local police people. They said the last 5 years have been a nightmare. DUIs are DUIs. They haven't, they are what they are. But they've got a whole new thing now. But in most places, by the way, most states, not even really, it's DUI, driving under the influence, because that encompasses not just alcohol, but drugs. A lot of people, to be honest with you, they're taking, NyQuil or something like that for a cold or whatever. And that stuff will loop you out, and it's just as illegal to drive on that as it is, a pint of vodka. Okay, but these law enforcement people in Colorado told me it's a nightmare with the pot, with the whole auto issue with the pot, but see, then you get mainstream people like Martha Stewart, John Boehner, former Speaker of the House. He's supposed to be a nice Catholic boy from Ohio. I know the area he's from very well. Former Speaker of the House, very prestigious position. Of course, now he's out of politics. He's making millions of dollars, working for different lobbying groups. I guess the ones that decided to pay him more than anybody else was the marijuana lobby. So now he's pushed it too. And I hear these arguments. Well, it's not as bad as alcohol. Okay, let's just say that's true. Why do we need another intoxicant out there? And just for the record, after 20 years of dealing with literally millions of people regarding drug issues, I can tell you this. I have met a lot of people, dealt with a lot of people that smoke pot, that never did heroin, never did cocaine, never did meth, never did mollies, never did nothing else. All they did is smoke pot. A lot of those, okay? By the same token, I don't think I've ever dealt with anybody that was into the oxys or the meth or the heroin or the coke or whatever else, fentanyl. I don't think I've met one of those people that were into those type of really wicked drugs that didn't at some point smoke pot. Just telling you. The smoking pot is the gateway to hard drugs, not for everybody. And again, a lot of people smoke pot and never do anything else. But I can't even, maybe 1 out of 100,000 that's doing something hard didn't do marijuana at some point. That's just a fact. It's a fact they don't want to talk about. And again, we've got enough people in the society that are out of their minds in bondage to some addiction. We just don't need another one. All right. Don't be mad I called Christians soft. It's true, they are. They really are. And you know, it's not their fault. In a significant way, it's not their fault. Because Christians in this country never had to be tough. Had to be hardcore. Just never had to be. We've been very blessed. We've got it very easy here. I went to church all my life before I got into ministry. Did probably what most people do. Got up Sunday morning, went to church. Yeah, then lived my life the rest of the week. Never thought about fighting anybody or battling against this issue or that issue. I'm too busy, man. I put my hour in. I dropped my check in the plate. I did my part. Boy, it's easy to just back into that kind of a mentality. All right, listen, if you're watching tonight, you never made a decision for Jesus, I'm going to give you that chance before we go off the air here. My email address coming up on the screen. If you need prayer for anything, don't forget to email me. I'll be happy to help you any way I can, all right? But if you're out there tonight, you want to make that decision for Jesus, yeah, we've got it easy. But you know what? Once you make that commitment, there is a requirement. You are now part of something much bigger than yourself. You are a spokesman for Jesus, an advocate for Jesus. You're the holder of the word that represents truth. And God doesn't call us to sit on the bench. He calls us to be out in the action. If you want to make that decision to take that most important step, pray with me now. Dear Lord, I come to you tonight confessing my sins, asking for your forgiveness. Lord, I believe in my heart tonight and confess with my mouth tonight that Jesus Christ is my Lord, is my Savior. Come into my heart, Lord Jesus. Take my life now and forevermore. From this day forward, I will live for you. I will serve you. My life belongs to you. Use me for your glory. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Praise God. All right. If you made that commitment, I do have a book I can send you. Won't cost you anything. It'll help you in your new relationship with the Lord. Just drop me an email. I'll be happy to get that to you. And of course, like I said, anybody needs prayer, email me. All right. All right, good. Love and care about you so much. Pray you have a good night tonight. Yes, the week's off and running. I guess we'll see what tomorrow brings, right? Should the Lord turn, you never know, he might come back tonight. That'd be nice. Yeah, like I told you the other night, I find myself saying more and more, come quickly, Lord Jesus. But should he not come back, and should he grant us another day, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, right here for more live prayer. God bless you. Have a great night.
What problems are you dealing with in your life right now?
Do you feel like giving up? Times are hard and you're not strong. Well, I know the answer for you, and it will lead